Hampton Stadium in Kennewick. It's the first round of the 4A state playoffs and what promises to be a tough physical football game between two of the best defensive teams in all of Washington. Tonight's matchup pits the Mid-Columbia Conference champion Richland Bombers against the Central Valley Bears out of the Greater Spokane League. Alongside handsome over here, Greg Talbot. My name is Brian Levitan, and Greg, the cliche goes something like this: defense wins championships, but tonight only one of these dominant defenses can move on and possibly play for a state championship.
Well, that's true, bro.
Well, the Bears' MO all season long has been their defense. That's how they've won football games primarily, but they'll be counting on a field general on the offensive side of the ball if they want to come away with a win tonight in Richland's home turf. For the Richland Bombers, they have the luxury of one of these once-in-a-generation type players, a man among boys, Lakota Wills. Well, thank you, Greg. The winner tonight takes one step closer to Tacoma and has a chance possibly to play for a state championship down the line. It's Central Valley and Richland next on SWX.
First down from the 22. Play action. The pass is deflected and intercepted. Brecken Gallagher is going to take it in for the score. Canoli trying to escape and then fumbles. The ball still on the ground and recovered by Central Valley. But the Bears still very much in it. Stevens, a lot of time, but can't find an open receiver. He'll scramble backwards and just lob up a gift, and it's somehow caught by Wolski.
Are you kidding me?
And he's hauled out of bounds on the far sideline at the 35-yard line. Stymied a little bit by penalties. Stevens going to throw on 2nd and 8. Passes caught by Alex Chapman. Gets in front of the defense and just tripped up there inside the 15-yard line. Stevens, plenty of time. Quick pass to Griffey March over the middle, and he slides into the end zone easily for the second touchdown of the game for the Richland Bombers, and it's 22-3. Third down and goal from the 37. Stevens will let it fly to Griffey March, wide open, makes one guy miss, and he'll dance on in for another 6. And that battle in the trenches is definitely one to watch. 1st and 10 from the 20, and it's Kyle Whitby who gets the first carry for Richland and turns the corner on the far side of the field across the 25 to the 27. So a 7-yard gain, and this is what makes the Bombers so tough to defend, Greg, is they have so many different ways their running backs can hurt you.
Absolutely. There's a look at Paxton Stevens, the way their quarterback can hurt you. Brian, I think you told me a couple weeks ago in that game against Kamaikan on SWX, he hooked it up over 50 yards. He has an arm.
Threw it 62 yards in the air. Granted, it was an incomplete pass. He overthrew his receiver by about 15 yards, but this is a kid with a cannon that not a lot of people know about. Whitby again. Gets just across the 30 and looks like enough to move the sticks for the first time. The Bombers will get the first down. Paxton's.
And let's go ahead and take a look at these Central Valley defensive impact players. Ben Craig, though, one of the defensive backs. They have so many guys, Brian, that have a ton of interceptions. I think you said Craig has 7 or 8 this season just to himself.
Yes, 7 interceptions to lead the team. And then Tanner Gummersall also in the defensive backfield with 5. All but one starter with an interception this season. Lakota Wills off the fake pass, goes nowhere, gets gobbled up by that front 4 of the Bears, which will be a big test for this Richland offensive line and running attack.
Yeah, at the top of the broadcast, and our coaches' keys to the game, they said they wanted to contain the Richland to run, specifically contain Lakota Wills. Even though he doesn't have the most carries on the team this season, Lakota's the big bruiser. You see him there on the right side of your screen, committed to play football at Air Force next year. He's their power back.
And he's one of these guys who'll wear you out and you miss a tackle, and he's gone for 50 yards. He has speed. Not much doing there on 2nd and 9. Gets just past the line of scrimmage, so a 3rd down and long upcoming for Paxton Stevens and the Richland Bombers. Stevens, by the way, just 14 practices before the start of this season, Greg. Broke his back dunking a basketball over the winter and missed all of the spring and summer program. 14 practices, his first game as a starting quarterback at Richland High School against Gonzaga Prep.
And what's crazy to think is if he had had more than 14 practices, maybe they could have beaten Gonzaga Prep, in which case they would be undefeated right now.
3rd and 9. Stevens has time and finds Alex Chapman right by the left hash there. And that is right at the first down marker. They're going to give him the first down on 3rd and 9. And that's something the Bombers do really well. I remember that in their win against Kamiakin. Must have converted 10 third down conversions. It was incredible how efficient they were on 3rd down. From the 41, 9:30 to go in the first quarter. Bombers will run it up the middle. That was Lakota Wills again, not having much success, but it looks like they want to try and keep the Bears a little honest there and focus on the middle of the field there.
Absolutely true, and one of the reasons that they've had such great success on defense this year, Central Valley, is because, all the interceptions, that's because the starting 4 up front on their defensive line, they're the ones that force that pressure. So whether it's running or passing, they're the key thing that Paxton Stevens is zeroed in on.
Wills up the middle, and he is getting a steady diet of white jerseys every time he tries to break free. And I think part of the problem is they're spending so much time trying to block Jordan Talafili, the defensive tackle. You see him there with the long hair. He's over 300 pounds, been a starting defensive tackle on this team in the GSL since he's a freshman. He's a junior. And he commands so much attention with the offensive line. Wills doesn't have other blockers there to help him out and get some yards. Stevens rolling on 3rd and 6. Going deep for Rhett Levin, and it sails out of bounds. Uncatchable pass. Brings up 4th down.
So Alex Chapman with a completed pass, and now they go to Rhett Levin going deep, although that one falls incomplete. Speaks, Brian, to the amount of weapons they have, because neither of those guys were on our offensive impact players to watch list just a couple of minutes ago. They have a ton of different weapons on offense, and it isn't just a couple of players like some teams. Richland has so many different ways they can go on offense.
Probably upset some parents out there watching, but not enough room for players to watch.
All emails can be directed to Brian Levitan.
It was tough to edit that list. And a quick little pooch punt here from Paxton Stevens. The Bombers like to do that on 4th down often. And on a 4th and 6, a beautifully placed pooch by Stevens, who apparently has a leg to go with that big arm. I'm going to just keep you guessing. From the 5-yard line. Bears like to operate out of the spread, and they go to the air first, and they like to do that. That pass intended for Braden Anderton, but falls incomplete. You see Tanner Sloan right there, senior quarterback, been a starter at Central Valley for the last 2 years. His dad, Rick Sloan, is the offensive coordinator. Rick Sloan played his college football at the University of Idaho.
On the offense, that penalty is declined. 2nd down.
So rather than taking the yards, because it's only half the distance to the goal, Greg, they decide to decline it and make it 2nd down. But Rick Sloan played his college football at the University of Idaho under a pretty well-known guy named Dennis Erickson.
Indeed.
And Tanner Sloan basically grew up around this football team.
And you can tell he knows this offense inside and out.
Sloan will hand it off with room, getting the first and much more. Gage Cannoli with his first run, and it is a big one, 20 yards.
Well, holy cannoli, Brian, look at him. Not a lot of space there. By the way, Richland, that's a big defensive line, the couple of guys they have up front. It's kind of a shifty running back. Of the Richland Bomber running backs you want to compare him to, he's more like Kyle Whitby and McLean Elgin. Less like Lakota Wills.
First down from the 22. Play action. The pass is deflected and intercepted. Brecken Gallagher is going to take it in for the score. 21-yard return by Gallagher, and how ironic, Alanis Morissette. Oh, but a team that some people say leads the nation with 25 interceptions gives up a pick 6 here at the 7:35 mark of the first quarter, and it's Richland striking first.
And what's so interesting is, Central Valley with 25 interceptions. You said, Brian, that a lot of those interceptions have come off tip balls by the other team. The fact that it goes Richland's way at the very beginning, that's a little bit strange.
Ryan Wolski with the extra point. And he splits the uprights